Hey, what's up, lovely people? Oh, hold on, live chat. There we go. Now I can see people. Hope y'all are doing well. I'm gonna try to keep this one short, although I usually go on my rants. I just want to tell everyone stay smart and stay safe with what you do day to day. We out in Texas, we recently had a neighborhood that is considered kind of nice, like kind of ranchy, acreage tracts, and I'm in the middle of nowhere if you couldn't tell. Acreage tracts, stuff like that. Hey, Loretta. And they had, there may be 50 homes out there. It's out in the middle of nowhere. Hey, Joe. Hey, KP. And they had over 20 cars broken into. Hey, Daryl. Now, some of it was stupidity on the part of the owners, right? So I'm gonna have to move my truck because I'm actually in this big guy's way here. So let me finagle my way over. Hey, Holly. So and they did this in the course of about a week and a half, and then they actually were kicking in doors in the middle of the day. But so they had some stay-at-home moms and even some work-at-home dads in that subdivision. I dropped myself. What? I dropped out of high school, so I can't stay smart. It's boring. You know what? Honestly, some of the smartest people I know are not necessarily formally educated. I was blessed in that some of my professors and teachers actually taught critical writing class, and we would have arguments in that class with the professor, with each other, but they were always challenging us to question what we were taught, test things. Hey, Cold War. I've seen people with degrees who are absolutely freaking idiots. So yeah, don't. I'm just getting back on the wagon again. They're good. Yay, Joe. So, in any case, these guys, they hit 20 cars in the course of a few nights. Then they hit a couple of houses in the middle of the workday. Hey, fed up. And part of the part of what they were doing, because they were so efficient at it, they had to have been watching the subdivision. They knew it was out in the country. And again, these are like half-acre to 4-acre lots. So these are ranch-style homes. Some had cattle, some had horses. But people left, there were a couple of owners left guns in their car, and then they didn't lock the car, right? That's what, when I say stay smart, if you have a firearm with you, take it in the house with you. Don't leave it in your unlocked vehicle overnight. Someone's going to steal it. And that's what they're looking for, is the car. They didn't, the gun, they didn't steal the cars. They didn't steal a single vehicle. I think they stole one, and that was to put the other stuff. Hey, Lucky. Yeah, no, 100%, right? Hell, I have a master's, and some days, trust me, I look at what I've done, and I'm like, wow, that was stupid. I clearly did not think that through. But the other thing is, they're not teaching people who are going through college now to critically challenge shit. It's just drink the Kool-Aid, obey, everyone's nice, everyone fits in. No, not everyone's nice, not everyone fits in. There are no safe spaces, and when you say shit like that, they freak out. But yeah, you're 100% right, Lucky. So in any case, they hit all these ranch properties. And what's funny, in this part of Texas, you will get shot. Like, you think, Texas in general is bad. This is like super Texas here. Like, they will shoot you and hide you in the desert kind of place. And, even the owners, they had this whole conversation in the neighborhood groups in Facebook. And they had video, but the guys covered their faces, and they were moving quick, so they were organized, and it was part of a gang. Ultimately, they caught a couple of them, which means eventually they'll give up their buddies. But basic things like securing your door, locking your car, don't leave your purse in the front seat in the front of your house. These are like common sense things, and you know, and these folks, one guy even admitted, he said, I absolutely screwed up. I left my revolver under my chair or under the seat. And yeah, I had a picture on her desk title, wife's off at 7th grade, me and my husband. They're going to get taken out by their own crew. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know what level of crew they are or what kind of gang they're affiliated with, or it's just a bunch of organized shits who are stealing stuff. But we got to be smart on a day-to-day basis. Exercise your common sense as much as you can. And the reason I'm bringing this up, since the inflation hit, since the economy, basically since Rona, everything became really demented, right? Sure, people throw up a laughing emoji. Good grief. Oh, somebody made a laughing emoji. I missed what happened there. Sorry. Yeah, sorry, I didn't catch what. Good grief. Okay, I didn't see it, Suburban, sorry. And GMA Nana, be smart when you're out on the street. Don't display, hey Sherber, don't display anything you don't have to. Watches, jewelry. I know sometimes you gotta. Joe, yeah. Yeah, you may need to recover a bit. But folks, we're living in an age right now, and it's a lot of things. Cold War, I think, was talking about this in one of his civics videos. I had to jump out, unfortunately, for a work call, but we're in a society right now that the mentality is everyone can do whatever. There's no consequences. There's no... Okay, Suburban. Yeah, I didn't see it. I missed it. Hey, Shorty. There's no consequences for bad behavior. There's no punishment, and people don't have expectations. You know, there was once upon a time, not very long ago, where you woke up in the morning and you were expected to do something productive. You go to work, you fix your house, whatever it is you did. And now it's like you don't have to be fit. You don't have to be nice. You don't have to work. On top of that, economic times are hard, so people can't afford things. And we've enabled this victim mentality where it's, well, it's not fair that you have a nice car and I don't. Now, my answer to that would be, I grew up on the freaking streets and busted my ass to get where I am. Ergo, I have earned the right to have my damn, whatever it is, and my pickup truck is not all that, but I have the right to have a house and a pickup because I busted my ass to get here. What's not fair is you deciding to take my shit because you think it's unfair because you're a lazy shit, And I'm seeing a lot of this, and I've been dealing with it personally with certain people I've run into, and I'm not a fan. And as I'm getting older, I'm less filtered because I guess my give a shit is at a lower level now. I don't know. But people, as the economy continues to have these issues, we're going to continue to see this crime thing occur. And these, 20, 30 cars in a neighborhood full of hunters, like someone was going to get shot, and they were organized enough, nobody caught them until finally the cops figured out who they were. Nobody shot him. And it was to the point, one of the people on this chat said, I don't want to go out and shoot someone, but they stole so-and-so's revolver and this guy's rifle. So as far as I know, if I go out there to, I hear my dogs barking or I hear a noise, I go out to investigate and I see this guy, I have to assume he has a gun, hey Johnny, or some weapon because he's stolen them. They're in possession of illegal stuff. Joe, well, yeah, and then they did home invasions too. Well, they did B&Es, break-in and enterings. They didn't hit a house. There was a house with a mom at home. She heard the neighbor's house get kicked in. She called the law. The guys were gone, which means they had scouts. right? Because she called, they probably had guys on the major intersections, and as soon as they saw that police car whiz by, they're like, hey, cops are coming, and they were gone. So they were organized, but they've got a handful of them, so that's going to kind of take the steam out of that. But we're going to see more and more of that. I have colleagues who are going to cities, Denver, Austin, Pittsburgh, on business trips, and they're like, I stayed at the hotel I always stay at, which is a nice hotel, the Hiltons and Marriott's, because the company pays for it. And the company's like, if we're sending you there, get a safe hotel, right? But he said, I wanted to go to dinner. I had to take an Uber to go, a mile, less than a mile, 5 blocks or whatever. He said, in the past, I would just walk it, but I walked it the other night and I got confronted twice. So now he has to Uber, which is great for the Uber guys. But he did 2 years for $1,000. Yeah. Right. But Joe, they were enforcing the law. They caught him. He got busted, right? They're catching him. They're letting him go. There's a video all over Instagram. I haven't seen it on TikTok or YouTube yet, but it was all over Instagram, and it may be on YouTube by now. 2 cops in New York City were they didn't put hands on anyone. They're chasing people. I believe it, Joe. I believe it. No, not jugging per se. Actually, these were car break-ins in a subdivision, in a ranch-style subdivision out in Texas. And they hit 20 cars in like the course of a week and a half, stole guns, money, jewelry, purses. But some people admitted, I didn't lock my car. I left my gun in my car and it was unlocked. And that's kind of the theme of the stay smart. Like, we got to try to exercise common sense. And we're so inundated with work, and a lot of us are just tired. Like, I'm tired all the time lately. We're not thinking clearly, so we just need, it happens all the time in Albany. I believe it, Johnny. We're seeing this. So anyway, these 2 cops in New York City get jumped on. They're trying to clear the platform. They didn't put hands on anyone from the video. They're like, you guys have to leave, get off, get out the platform. And then somebody says something to him and shoves the cops. So the cops take him down. And the next thing you know, they're like 20 guys on these cops. Now the cops are in a fist fight, trying to call for backup with, 8, 9 guys on them. The other guys videoing and taunting. And we've gotten to this point. We've gotten to a point where nobody's afraid of law. They're not afraid of consequences. It's just, my fear is that folks like us who are trying to live our lives are going to get caught out in the open by these shits. And that's why I say stay smart, plan your trips. I've said this before, a lot of us have. Plan your trips when you go on journeys. Take the time to research where you're going, even if you've been there before. Check the local news. Is there a protest? Are they having any kind of weird crime spree? Talk to any contacts you have. That's something I've gotten in the habit of doing. If I go on a business trip, I'll call the local guys. Right, Johnny, the cashless bail, which in theory was meant to be fair to the impoverished community, all it's done is encourage people to misbehave. And by the way, the guys who fought with the cops, literally kicking, punching, the cops flooded the platform about 3 minutes after that video ended, and they took like 10 of them into custody. They're already out on the street, less than 48 hours later. Nobody wants to be a cop. Who wants to be a cop where you're a target and you can't defend yourself? And when you do defend yourself, either you go to court or they let the guy go. This is going to reach a head. It could get ugly this year because of the election, because everyone is posturing. The hyperbole is ratcheted up, the way they're speaking to each other, the taunting and the bad word. It's just people, like, he tried to grab his sidearm at one point. Yeah, Johnny. So I agree with you. I think in that video, it looks like the guy tried to grab it, but the cops have a double retention holster. Hey, Watchman, we can't expect to be safe anymore when we travel. Yeah. And so, on parole after he did the full sentence. Yeah, Joe. And to that point, I just want you guys to be careful. I've got some travel coming up. I'm trying to put it off because I'm just tired of driving around. Like I mentioned on my other video, I've clocked about 4,100 miles since October, and I'm just done. But pay attention to where you're going. If you can take defensive items with you, or if you can take such training, do so. No, Joe, and that's the point. There's no consequences. They can go and punch people in the street, and the kid's out walking. For whatever reason, this knockout game, they've gone and hit, and they go after old folks too. They go and hit some elderly person, and 9 out of 10 times they hit their head on the concrete, and that'll kill someone. So, hey, Teresa, to me, if someone comes over and tries to take a swipe at me or my wife, I'm going to assume they're trying to kill me at this point. Because if they hit me in the back of the head and I face plant in the concrete, that's probably going to do me in right there. So now how do I react? And am I going to go to jail now because, well, you've put 3 other people in a coma doing this stupidity? Yes, exactly, Johnny. So, folks, pay attention to your surroundings. Watch where you're going. Be careful, especially in places where people tend to get distracted. Parking lots. Yeah, Joe, I'm there with you. Parking lots. Which video? Where is it? Watchmen, the video is 2 officers trying to clear a platform. I think it's in Manhattan or Brooklyn. And they get attacked. Now, there are reports that it was a group of migrants. They were just like camped out, and the cops were like, they didn't even put hands on them. They're just like, get out, get out. You know, you have to leave, pick up your shit. And then one of them shoved the cop, and the cop took him down. And while they were trying to cuff him, all the other guys came back and attacked the cops, tried to take their weapons, and it went sideways. Surprisingly, the cop didn't shoot anyone. And what's sad, if the guy tried to take the cop's firearm and he drew the weapon and shot the assailant, hey, Nanya, they probably would have put the cop in jail. So who wants to do that? And I think that, honest to God, it looks like they're creating this chaos on purpose as an excuse to, thank you, Johnny. Well, Dawn, what's going to happen is nobody wants to be a cop, right? They're going to make the crime so bad, honestly, as an excuse to take away more rights, which is stupid because you ban guns, or you give me a curfew. You know who's not going to obey the curfew or the gun ban is the criminals. We can't stop fentanyl. We can't stop the 30,000 migrants that came through Texas this year. So we're going to stop illegal guns. No, we're not. What it's going to do is screw all of us. Yeah, they're making non-citizens into police. Okay, now, I'm sure some of them could be very good. I'm not going to judge, but I'm sure some of them come from countries where it's okay to put hands on a citizen for no reason. It's okay to rape someone for no reason. Because I'm a cop. We did it in my country. And, you know, I have a member in my family, actually one of my siblings, who was dealing with migrant families, and they were counseling them upon arrival to their community, and they were saying, if you're going to be in the community, these are the rules. And one of the things my sib actually told these people was, in this country, you don't beat your wife in public. If we see you do that, we'll throw you in jail. And one of the men said, but that's necessary because, you know, the wives do whatever in my country. And they're like, no, we will put you in handcuffs. The sheriff told him. And we may be making people like that cops. Now, mind you, this is a group of people who wanted their green card, and they were in a class trying to understand where their new home was and how they should behave. Fair enough. But we're letting people in, and we're just letting them loose. No, Johnny, and they're all corrupt. I mean, there's a lot of corruption. Hey, just doing our best. How you been? Long time no see. Guys, be smart. Be smart when you're out there. Hey, Pilgrim. Watch yourselves on the street. Watch yourself when you're out and about. Hey, Tiger. Because criminals are emboldened, and as people get into bad financial situations, they lose their house, their car, their job, they're going to resort to either taking things by force, or they're going to resort to using stuff, self-medicating. But not everyone handles that well. You know, some people take some kind of drug and they just kind of zone out and be done by themselves, right? But some will take drugs and become psychopaths, and you got to be ready for that. And it's just a reality of the street, but it's spreading, and the cops don't want to do their job because what are they going to do? We had, you know, a few years ago, we had someone was trying to go over our fence and hit one of my dogs with a rock. And my wife called the law, and they said, she said, hey, there's someone trying to get in our back gate, and, you know, they threw things at our dog. They hurt the dog. I had a border collie at the time. And they're like, well, the nearest officer's 10 minutes. And I was hearing the conversation. I was already walking out of the master bedroom with a rifle. And I hear my wife on the phone go, oh, never mind. My husband just walked out the back door with a carbine. And they said, well, he shouldn't do that. She said, he's a soldier. He's not going to listen. He's going to fix the problem. I shit you not. I took 2 steps out of my back door. I heard 3 police sirens go off all at once and came to my location. That's what it took for me to get the cops to come to my yard. I had someone actively kicking the back gate and had struck my dog with something. Oh, Nunya, absolutely. And possibly Loretta. We don't know. My biggest fear, honest to God, and you guys can comment on it, is my biggest fear is one day we're going to wake up and one of our cities is going to be on fire, and not a part of it, the whole damn thing. I have friends who are veterans who now work in various agencies, and they're like, man, that shit keeps us up at night. And the people, not their direct supervisors, but up the food chain, he says it seems like our leadership is completely oblivious to this threat. And that bugs me. But the more realistic problem is the fact that we have people who no longer fear a consequence. They don't fear jail. They don't fear arrest. They don't fear a beating. They don't fear an ass kicking. And they're targeting kids. They're grabbing teenagers. 2 weeks ago, I literally had 5 Amber Alerts. I don't know if any of you guys in Central Texas got this, Lucky or Cold War. 5 Amber Alerts. Normally, when you see an Amber Alert, you can kind of tell it's like a domestic situation. Like, you know, little Maria Sanchez, 6 years old, has been kidnapped. Suspect is John Sanchez. Or Jane Doe has been taken by Sarah Doe. And you kind of look at it and go, okay, that's like a custody thing. The mom or the dad took a kid. But here it's like so-and-so taken by unknown white male, unknown black male, unknown Hispanic male, grabbed by multiple people and dragged into a van, was witnessed by other person. This is the serial number or the license plate. It was stranger abductions, and it was frightening, and it's horrifying. So guys, be careful. Watch your kids, watch your neighborhood. Okay, if you pay attention, you kind of know who does and doesn't belong. So 2 hours for an officer to respond. I called, hold on, someone tried our back door one night after we moved in and I was alone, called 911. They weren't going to send PD until I said I have a pew. Then they sent 2 cars. Called in one night because someone shot a shotgun right behind my fence. Out of my dog. Had a heart problem, ran inside with the dog, called 911. Heard the officer in the next 2 blasts. Almost took 2 hours. So folks, watch yourselves, be careful, don't exercise some risk management, understand where you should or shouldn't be and where danger can be. Just pay attention, watch each other, watch your community, get to know your neighbors, get to know who should or shouldn't be in your neighborhood. And when you see something sus, don't hesitate to call the non-emergency number. They may or may not show up, but at least make the effort. Maybe even take a picture of the vehicle, get the license plate. In case something happens and someone reports a crime later, you can send that to the cops and say, hey, this guy was floating around the neighborhood and I've never seen him before. But anyway, be careful out there, folks. Stay smart. Be mindful of what you do, what you leave visible in your car, what you're wearing jewelry or clothing wise. Be uninteresting, because things may happen where it could get ugly. And y'all just be safe. I enjoy chatting with all of you. I enjoy jumping into the live streams of the other creators whenever I can. And I'd like to keep seeing you guys, either on my channel or somewhere else. So, just be careful and be good. Take care.